Hello and welcome to the video. Now, recently we got an update regarding Top Gear Series 26, and it was quite an unexpected announcement that was made by the Top Gear team, and something that is quite surprising to myself and a few other Twitter users, and most likely the car community or motoring world of that matter. The post written by TopGear.com with the headline, "Welcome your new Top Gear presenters." Now, in the past, BBC had gotten it wrong with announcing Chris Evans, the famous Radio 2 DJ, as the host to step in the shoes of Richard Hammond, James May and Jeremy Clarkson once they left the BBC in 2015. And a lot of people didn't agree with the choice of Evans as the main host to take over from the three presenters once they left, and presumably it seems to have happened again 3 years down the line. This time though we have Matt Le Blanc leaving the role of main Top Gear presenter, whilst Chris Harris stays on the main show and Rory Reid moves back to the main presenter of Extra Gear from next year onwards. Now, Chris Harris, Rory Reid and Matt Le Blanc, for their tenure as presenters, they worked really well together, and we do get to see that for the last time once Series 26 comes around next year. They work really well together as a team, as a duo, and as people who know a lot about cars. One that I am pointing out here is Chris Harris, who is a motoring journalist and previously presented Chris Harris on Cars, and now presents Top Gear, and Chris Harris drives on the Top Gear YouTube channel, which is in a similar fashion very similar to what Chris Harris used to do on his own YouTube channel when way back in before getting the Top Gear job. But now it seems that we have the guy of Take Me Out and some random cricketer and sports personality that I've never even heard of to this day. I've seen Paddy McGuinness in a few TV shows, most noticeably, from what I can remember, that one on TV3, or now known as Virgin Media 1, called Take Me Out, and it's basically a shit show. It's not a shit show, but that's what it sounds like. I'm not going to say I watched the show, because I don't, but from glimpses of seeing him on TV, I have seen him before in shows like Take Me Out and Celebrity Juice and that, and the shows that ITV produce aren't that good at times. This video is pretty much pretty much expressing my opinions on the new presenters and how the BBC managed to get it wrong the second time round. I will be reading extracts from the article posted on the Top Gear website about the new presenters, and I will also leave a link in the description box below, which you can catch down there once this video ends. So the article starts off with, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your new Top Gear host, Paddy McGuinness and Freddie Flintoff. Following Matt Le Blanc's announcement that he will leave Top Gear after the next series, we're proud to announce that comedian and entertainment host Paddy McGuinness, along with former Ashes-winning England cricketer Flintoff, will join Chris Harris for the 27th series of Top Gear TV. As I mentioned earlier, Rory Reid will step away from main presenting duties on the main show and be backseated for presenting Extra Gear at the helm of the next series, for Series 27, as well as Series 26, I think, Series 26, he'll be presenting with the three of them, and then Series 27, he will present Extra Gear onwards. Saying that he will present the show with Sabine Smith and present the show from in a larger digital presence, because as you know, BBC Three as of 2 years ago went online completely and is no longer a televised TV channel. Flintoff said, "It's not often you get the chance to do both your dream jobs, but I am now lucky enough to say that I have. I've always been passionate about cars, and I'm so excited to be joining the Top Gear team." Now, I don't know this guy, I've never even heard of him, so it'll be difficult for me to kind of form an opinion, although from what I'm reading on the Top Gear website, I do have a little bit of an opinion about him, and whether he will be good enough behind the camera with cars and that. Chris Harris, who currently presents the show and is a former motoring journalist and is a former presenter of Chris Harris on Cars and of course The Drive on YouTube, has said, "I think you can tell just how much fun we're going to have making Top Gear with Paddy and Freddie. They're both brilliant natural entertainers, and their mischief mixed with the most exciting cars on the planet is sure to take the show to the next level. My dream job just got even better." Series 26 of Top Gear TV, Matt Le Blanc's last as lead host, will debut in early 2019 on BBC Two, followed by Paddy, Freddie and Chris on the all-new series of 27 later in the year. Now, from what I get from this is mixed reactions. If we look at the comment section below the written article, it is sure to tell us more about them and how the audience is feeling towards the newly announced presenters. While I wait for this to load, I would like to take a minute out of your time to let you know that I upload videos every so often, and when I get the chance to do so. I don't particularly have a YouTube channel as a YouTube schedule as per se, but I do upload when there is news like this, or when there is news like shows that I'm interested in like this, or Doctor Who or whatever, or motoring issues or politics or whatever that I'm interested in. I will also have a video out in the presidential election very soon, so stay tuned for that if you are interested in politics and what is happening in the world. Take a moment to subscribe to the channel, like the video and share the video on social platforms if you so will, at your own discretion. Thank you very much. But now back to the video. Looking at the comments, we can see that there are mixed reactions from a lot of people on this post and recent announcement that the two new presenters will be joining the team in 2019. And if I just read you out one comment that caught my eye recently as we were scrolling through, Ross says, "Oh dear, I get why Matt left. Schedule etc. for him must be hard. But why Paddy and Freddie? Can't they just find an actual decent motoring journalist on motor racer with presenting skills like Jensen Button to come on board and do the show?" Also, Rory Reid was excellent with Chris Harris and they'd built up a rapport after a few seasons, so now that's gone and the show's going to start from scratch again. Exclamation, exclamation, exclamation mark. Whoever's in charge needs to be fired and someone with common sense needs to be brought in. Now, I totally agree with Ross on this point. It's not like the BBC have gotten it right with introducing the new presenters who presumably know nothing about cars at this point. But as stated previously, 2 years ago when they introduced Chris Evans as host to take over from Clarkson, Hammond and May when Jeremy Clarkson left in 2015 after the fracas with a Top Gear producer, left him with basically no job until Amazon took him up. We can see that with the hiring of Evans as the main presenter alongside Matt Le Blanc, Chris Harris and Rory Reid, along with the 7 other unnecessary presenters that were introduced in the Evans era of Top Gear, we can see that they made a mistake and messed up there, but that was shortly figured out, soon to be figured out around episode 3 of series 23, when they announced that Evans will be taking a step back from the main presenting role, allowing for Matt Le Blanc, Chris Harris and Rory Reid to have more of the spotlight as the series progresses. Now, keeping in mind that the 23rd series of Top Gear only ran for 6 episodes, where we were generally used to series 22 and above that running for 10 episodes inclusively. So by the series 23, middle of series 23 came around, Evans took a back seat and quietened down, because we knew that from previous presenting roles that he had within the television industry and of course on radio presumably, he was a very bouncy and childish personality. So I'm glad that Chris Evans took a step back and listened to the audience members and the audience people who tune in to watch the Top Gear that he once fronted. However, we will not dwell on this situation and move on from it very quickly, because I for one was not a fan of the Evans era of Top Gear when it was announced, but I sat through it and watched it anyway. But however, this is not a discussion for today, and we are currently discussing the new Top Gear presenters taking over from 2019 onwards with Chris Harris as host. Moving on. But yes, I do agree with Ross's point that the BBC should hire a motor racer with presenting skills like Jensen Button, and the person in charge of hiring these twits needs to be fired and someone else needs to be brought in. So Ross, I do agree with you on that point. Moving down and looking at more of the comments, we see that there are mixed reactions from the commentators on the post. If I can get another comment similar to Ross's or something completely different, of a totally different perspective, I can see if I can find more in-depth. Here it is. So, one from, I think it's Tassand, in reply to Matt, said, "No, it did not. The ratings were not anywhere close to those of the ancient Three Stooges, Clarkson and Co. in brackets. When Clarkson and Co. did the show, it was BBC's biggest cash cow. The idiots of BBC insisted of controlling Clarkson early on, let him loose, and then had to kill the goose that laid the golden eggs for them. But what do you expect from left-wing government aristocrats? A brain, lol, exclamation mark, question mark." Now this is someone clearly who is in total disagreement of the new presenters being announced, and I presume this is someone who will not be tuning in to the new series, to series 27 of Top Gear when it airs after series 26 in 2019. So I do get that kind of vibe from that person. However, I do agree that Clarkson and Co. were the three main stooges and were the people who set up Top Gear for its initial run before Clarkson got sacked in 2015 after the fracas with a Top Gear producer. So yes, I do agree with him on that point. Another great comment. I can't tell whether this is... Yeah, this one is a... I found another comment, by the way. This comment is a bit... Actually, no. It's not one-sided. It's very positive, I think, in terms of what we're looking at. A comment from the great world champion says, "It was unnecessary to remove Reid from the team." Excuse me. He was excellent along with Harris and Le Blanc, who unfortunately quit in the last two seasons. It was unnecessary to replace Reid, a proven motoring journalist, with some cricket player and a comedian. While there may be potential celebrity reach, there's a lack of credible brand association with the two new presenters. Top Gear should have hired charismatic, capable and proven motoring journalists such as Jethro Bovingdon, Steve Sutcliffe and Harry Catchpole, while maintaining Rory Reid, who had a very good chemistry with Harris and Le Blanc. Still, could be worse, and some show-off vloggers from YouTube, Apologies. Now, I agree with him on this topic. I agree with him on every sense of the word with his comment. I do believe that they should have stuck with Rory Reid in the main presenting role that he has already obtained, having co-presented Top Gear 2 years ago as a presenter alongside Matt Le Blanc and Chris Evans when Chris Evans took over the show in 2016. However, the great world champion has made some very good points, and of course, if you want to read more on the article that I am currently reading the comments of, I will leave a link to it down in the description below, and I will, if you have any questions regarding the new series, I will be very happy to answer them in the comment section of this video. Moving on, the comment directly after that says, what? Question mark, exclamation mark. Just as new Top Gear had found its feet, they do this. Did they just roll a dice with random TV presenters' names on them? What did they know about proper car stuff? What was wrong with Rory's TV work? This is a travesty. I've been watching Top Gear continuously since about 1996, but this move might just be what finally kills it for me. A disgraceful dilution. So you can kind of get that from this commenter that he is clearly very unhappy with the results of the two new presenters, and will clearly not be tuning in to the 27th series of Top Gear when it returns later in the year. So from the comment section that we just read out of, I believe there have been mixed reactions on both sides of the news that Top Gear have released a statement following Matt Le Blanc's exit. That being Freddie Flintoff and I was going to say Matt Le Blanc there. Freddie Flintoff and Paddy McGuinness as the presenters. Now I can understand the frustration. I myself am slightly frustrated, although I don't vent my frustration in the comments. I am slightly annoyed that basically two presenters or one presenter and one randomer, the randomer being Freddie Flintoff, of TV and whatever else Freddie Flintoff does. I am annoyed that they have picked people who, from my recollection, I don't recall anything, but I don't think Paddy McGuinness and Freddie Flintoff have a very good knowledge of cars, nor do they know what they're talking about when it comes to cars. So I'd have to wait for that to play out. However, I have full confidence in Chris Harris as a motoring journalist that, from what he has said on Twitter about them and from what he has said here on the website, that he will get on great with the two presenters, hopefully, and hopefully it doesn't end up with presenters arguing over petty little things like it did 2 years ago when Chris Evans took over, and every few weeks before the series even aired on TV, you were hearing that Chris Evans and Matt Le Blanc were basically not speaking to each other even before the series aired. So hopefully it doesn't end up like that, and I wish them the very best of luck with the new series. Saying that though, I will still be watching Top Gear no matter the outcome of what happens, and I just hope it goes well for the BBC, because I for one do not want to see Top Gear die at the early stages of what could be a mediocre presenting team for Series 27. However, I am slightly upset that Matt Le Blanc is leaving leaving the show as main presenter, as very early on, as proven from Series 24 and definitely going into Series 25, that the chemistry between Matt Le Blanc, Rory, Reid and Chris Harris was definitely coming together as one piece, and we were just about seeing that before he decided that he was announcing to leave the role as main Top Gear presenter for that series, and of course Series 24. However, we are not done with the Matt Le Blanc era of Top Gear yet. We still have one more series of him to go before he officially leaves the series, and that is Series 26, which airs early 2019. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If you like this video, please comment on the video below, letting me know your thoughts on the new presenters and whether or not you will be watching the new Top Gear series. Whether or not you will be watching Series 27 of Top Gear when it is released in the next year or so. Share the video on social platforms, and if you want more videos like this, hit the subscribe button for more videos like this, and make sure you're hitting the bell notification icon so you never miss a video when I upload. Thank you very much for watching, and I will be back with more Top Gear news very soon once Top Gear begins to hit the airwaves again. My thoughts on the new Top Gear presenters being announced this early. Actually, I wasn't expecting it to be announced as early as it is. Usually they would announce something like this when, say, Series 26 finishes. Within a few weeks of it finishing, they would announce the new presenters taking over from or succeeding rather from the current presenting, like they did with Chris Evans being announced and Jeremy Clarkson leaving the role in 2015. However, I'm not going to dwell on this issue, and I will leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening. My thoughts on the new presenters, on the new presenting lineup, will be published. It is already published on Drive Tribe, and it will of course again be published on the Retro Garage website, which you can catch in the link below once it is written up, and published on Twitter and stuff like that. However, I will not ramble on for any more now than I did. I will leave you in peace to enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much for tuning into this video, and I will be back with more Top Gear news very soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again.